Hello everyone, welcome to this brand new or kind of revitalised channel where I'm going to be talking to you about mostly game related topics. I'm Tommy, you can refer to me as Totolk, so call me anything you want, I can't hear you, it's not a two-way thing. So I've been in this industry for 13 years, give or take, something like that. I say give or take because I left really well, primarily to have a breakdown. And almost game developers tend to have a wee breakdown somewhere along the line. Breakdown canopies, whereas mine was more like an all-you-can-eat kind of deal. Neither here nor there. I'm still here. I'm here for you. I'm here for me. I'm here for everyone's inverted commas delight. I've been a UI artist. I've been a general artist. I've been QA. I've been design. I've been a branding artist. Currently an animator. I've done a wee bit of everything. Maybe I'll be able to give you a few insights that some YouTubers might not. Perhaps I'll be able to look into the dev side of things a bit deeper. Those things that other YouTubers might presume incorrectly or guess about. If they are outside peering into the window, I'm in the house, naked. I don't know why I'd be naked, but... So for this very first video, I want to look at ports, because it's a topic that I hear brought up a lot, especially recently, given that Sony has changed their stance on their games going to PC and going to other platforms in general. But what is a port? Sounds simple, but what's that? Can you hear that? Like a down tempo kind of chill out hip hop kind of track. Am I going mental? That's annoying me. What is that? That's going to do my nothing. That's like it's inside my it's like it's inside my head. Forget about it. Forget about it. Alright? If you can. A port is effectively just taking a game from its native environment and translating it and bringing it to a brand new environment. We have to be clear here, a port is just translating the game as it is. It's not like this, it's not like Sonic for the Master System, where it's like a completely different game. When you talk about Sonic 2 for the Mega Drive or the Genesis, you're not talking about the same game on the Master System. It's a brand new game, so it doesn't count as a port. And reimaginings, remakes, rewind when the crowd say Bo Selector, these guys don't count as ports either. I'll make a completely different video for that. This is going to be a big one. So now that we know what a port is, are they good? Are they good for the games industry in general? I don't know. It sounds like in Scooby-Doo when they talk on the phone. That was actually pretty good. I'm pretty good. Now, porting isn't a simple process. I know that the vast majority of you already know that. Like there are companies set up solely to port. I was going to say I thought there was something jagged into my backside, but it literally is just my backside. I've got no meat on my backside. No. Sorry, continue. Porting is not a simple process. There are companies like Blitworks, 4J Studios. These guys are just set up purely to do port, or by the vast majority to do ports. I was lucky enough to work at Ubisoft Reflections when they were making Drive for San Francisco. That was the noise you make when you eat a wheat pot chip. For the Xbox 360. For the Xbox 360, for the PS3, PC, it was a separate Wii game. And though I wasn't necessarily involved in any of the porting process, particularly, I did notice a lot of the problems when it came to transferring assets. The Xbox 360 and the PC were very similar in terms of architecture. Everything was very simple to just kind of go, it works fine. However, the PS3 was a bit belligerent. It didn't want to play ball, and I recall having big problems with the mini-map, problems with in-world markers. It wasn't simple at all. One of my colleagues, he was a programmer who was dealing with some of the porting stuff, said that for some reason there were assets that were turning completely black, shades of purple were turning kind of grey. There was no indication of why these things were happening. Some things just wouldn't transfer. And speaking of I'm not picking on the PS3. It's had some fantastic games like Haze and Lear. I had better games than that. It was notorious for being pretty tricky to work on. And a good example of that is Fez. Fez came out on Xbox 360, and I remember at the time people were really angry. They were like, "Why is there no PS3 port? Where is it? Where's the PS3 port?" The problem was the game was made in C#, which is the programming language. At the time, the PS3 didn't have any C# integration. There was no ability to play or build C# games on the PS3 for the longest time, and so the company Blipworks, what they had to do was they had to translate all the game's code into C++, which is a similar, albeit, I was going to say similar but different. Just say different. It's a different language, okay? It's not like, say, it's not English to Mandarin, but it's like Spanish to Italian. You know? I'm talking like I know programming. I have no idea of how to program games, right? I'm technically quite inept, but I manage. And that's why companies like Blipworks and 4K Studios, that's why they exist, purely to port the games over. An ex-colleague of mine said that she had been working, that was her first job in the games industry, and they had been told there was a game that was supposed to be ported kind of at the latter end of the Xbox 360 PS3 generation, and they were expecting it to take about 3 to 4 weeks. It ended up taking 7 months. It's rarely as simple as just pressing the I've read your comments on Reddit of the it's quite easy. You know, guys on Twitter, you just drop in menu. I want Super Mario Galaxy on the PS4. And it comes out like like printer paper, like that's my printer noise. With the dot matrix dots down the side that you rip off and you drop on the office floor for someone else to clean. Oh, nice! Super Mario Galaxy on the PS4. I don't know how you'd play it. I don't know how you'd play a copy of Super Mario Galaxy for the PS4 if it was printed on paper. I don't really think through my metaphors before I say it. I just kind of ad-lib these. I don't know if you can tell. That bloody music. So I was looking to see if I had I didn't realise I actually had 2 copies of Cold Spot. I thought I had. Can't have too many copies of Cold Spot in my opinion. Can't find it. Rubbish. I was going to talk to you about Street Fighter 2 because back in the mid-90s, ports were less of a contentious issue, although they did have their own arguments. Sega's Mega Drive tend to be seen as the edgier, the cooler guy. A game like Street Fighter 2 was seen to be superior on the SNES because of the speed. The Mega Drive port was generally seen to be inferior because it played slower. Conversely, when you looked at the port of Mortal Kombat to the Super Nintendo from the Mega Drive, they had to tone down a lot of the gore, and so the Mega Drive port was superior in that regard. Ports can have their own little quirks. And not to mention, when ports were all about 1080p versus 900p, eh? Remember that? That's quirky. But why is there such a huge pushback on ports? Why are people so angry when a game they love goes to another platform for those guys to play? I'm a bit more progressive when it comes to games. I think everyone should get to play every game personally. I think looking towards the future, if you look at all the other forms of media, the idea of locking your product to a singular platform, you can only watch your film that you purchased on this box, watch on this TV, in this room, hidden away from the rest of the world. I think that's quite, it seems archaic now, and I think with enough time, that same idea will apply to games. We'll start to think, how could we ever live this way? We bought The Adventures of Tintin, and we could only play it on the Xbox 360. Could you imagine only playing The Adventures of Tintin, Kinect enabled, only on the Xbox 360? With the Kinect. And Microsoft in particular is making really good strides with that, with xCloud and Play Anywhere and all that stuff. They're looking to broaden how many formats you can play your game on. You buy your game on the Xbox and you get the PC version as well. It's literally called Play Anywhere. Of course, I'd be remiss to not talk about Microsoft's jaded fans, the ones that are less enthused by these things. How is her hair on that? She's not really up now. No, I'm wearing black. So if you bought an Xbox One, when Microsoft was only just starting to roll out this idea of we're all big one Microsoft family of gaming devices, and because now you're looking at, you can play your Xbox games on your PC, on your phone via xCloud, on your smart toaster or whatever. Before then, the more traditional way to look at buying a console was what has the best exclusive games and nothing else, because now if you ask me what's the best reason to buy an Xbox One, I'd say you want to buy an Xbox One for Game Pass or for the expanded infrastructure. I wouldn't necessarily say you buy an Xbox One for Sunset Overdrive, but I'd say you can play Sunset Overdrive anywhere you want to be, which is great. I couldn't see that for the other consoles at the minute. Back when you bought your Xbox One and you bought Rise, did they ever? They don't actually ever explain why it's spelled like that, because you'd probably spell it differently if it was a name or something, wouldn't you? If it was like the protagonist's name, like if he was called John Rise or Rise McFarlane. Anyway, if you bought your Xbox One day one and you picked up your copy of Rise or the Dead Rising 3, if you bought your console, you bought it because you thought the games were the best. Now these people over time have started to feel a little bit jaded that all the games are going to the PC as well. Naturally, it has become troll food. Xbox has no games. I'll play the Xbox games on my PC. You're still buying the games. You're still playing a Microsoft game on your PC. You're still getting your money. It's not like they care if you're buying it to play on one specific console or on all the consoles. You've no won. And before I forget, all you folk that write first on you, why? Why? No one cares you're first. That, if you do that just makes me think, wow, this person is rubbish. This person's actual rubbish. I bet they smell like cabbage. And you can smell them. First. Oh, oof, like a broken catalytic converter. Smell you through the screen. Stop doing it. I can see why a port I mean, you've bought your console, you've purchased it for £400, £500. You don't want to have the singular reason for purchasing your console removed. But like I said, I think porting all the Xbox games to the PC is in general a very customer focused move, and I think it's a great thing. In general, I find Nintendo to be like, I love Nintendo. I'm 35 years old. I think Nintendo still encapsulate that joyous, the wondrous feeling of game, of discovery and gesticulation. If you were one of the very few people that bought a Wii U, like me, mug, you'll notice I've got, I think this is the entire catalogue of the Wii U actually. Probably. I don't know. Unfortunately, the records of the Wii U have been lost to history, so we'll never know. If you're one of the people like me who purchased a Wii U for the games, but predominantly for the games, but also for the really cool Wii U console, the USP of it, it was kind of like the home DS. I personally believe they really missed the mark by not calling it the home DS, the DS home console. I think that would have broken a bit of the ambiguity around the marketing, which was pretty shocking, to be honest. But I bought all the cool games that came out for it. I bought your Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, Captain Toad, Bayonetta 2, the big name releases. Loving it. So when they said that they were going to be releasing a new console, the Switch, which kind of was like the natural progression of the Wii U, taking a handheld home console hybrid and taking it to the next level. But when they said that they were going to be bringing a bunch of the old games from the Wii U and porting them over, it did needle me quite a wee bit. It is a wee bit hypocritical of me to say, because I already said I quite like the way that Microsoft are going, bringing all their games to the PC and whatnot. I think the difference there is that Microsoft were bringing out a whole bunch of titles and then porting them simultaneously, whereas what Nintendo did was they had everyone that had the Wii U buy all the games, and then they said for the first year and 3 months you can pretty much buy them all again. Like I've got a Switch copy of Captain Toad and a Wii U copy of Captain Toad. One was a gift. I can't remember which one. In general, I don't like rebuying games unless it's by mistake, like with Cool Spot. I might actually have 3 copies of Cool Spot. But yeah, in general, I don't like to be told there's a whole bunch of new games coming. Wait till you see what we've got in store for you, and then you look through the release list and it's like, I already own that. I've played that, I've owned that. Oh, that one looks good. For you guys who bought a Switch and missed out the Wii U, great, brilliant. In general, I love the idea that more people got to play these games. My stance is quite clear. I think more people should get to play more games. Everyone should get to play every game. But to those of us that bought the Wii U and then purchased a Switch and then were ready for Nintendo's magic to be playing all these amazing cool, I mean, like, the very first must-have game on the system was a Wii U game. Naturally, I'm a wee bit bitter about it, and they have gotten better. They did release Bayonetta and Mario Kart and Wonderful 101 and all those other games, Captain Toad, all those games that were system sellers on the Wii U have now become supplementary titles on the Switch, and the Switch has kind of grown beyond that port machine title that a lot of the naysayers were calling it. Like I said, I think ports are great, but not at the expense of new games. You know, don't rely on ports. Anyway, nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Turns out it's mandatory. Turns out if you want to be a gaming YouTuber or a YouTuber who talks about gaming or game dev or games in general, down tempo, chill out, hip hop track is mandatory. Can it be loud enough for you to enjoy it? Can it be loud enough for you to enjoy it? But it has to be loud enough that you can't tune it out. Great. Well, stay in my nothing. Is this going to end? See, when I turn the video off, is this going to end? Is this going to stay like this? Wait, like if I stop making this video, is that still going to be there? Because I tell you, that's going to do my nothing. It's really doing my nothing. So we've talked about Microsoft, we've talked about Nintendo. Obviously we have to talk about Sony and how their stance has morphed, especially in the past couple of months. Sony's always sold its games based on this right here. Only on PlayStation, right? This has been the reason why you pick up a PS4 or a PS3 is because they're proud of their exclusives, and as you only get PlayStation games on the PlayStation, and that's why a lot of the PlayStation fans in particular are so angry at the idea of porting to the PC, porting to other consoles. I've seen some comments that are like, you've betrayed us, we'll never buy a game from you again. People on Twitter are giving death threats. And before I go any further, who's doing that? Who is making death threats over a video game? Are you joking? Are you mental? Away you go. Go get sorted. Go get another hobby. Go get therapy. Sort yourself out. So it came to a head when God of War, this one, it appeared on PS Now, which is the subscription service for streaming PlayStation games on your PC. It kind of triggered a lot of the console fanboys to go into overdrive. Some people were like, oh, it's not a true exclusive then. Other people were like, oh, if you're only streaming it, it still counts as an exclusive. What does an exclusive even mean? What does a port even mean? It was starting to get to the point where everything was becoming really more nebulous. And in my opinion, that's a good thing. Being more nebulous about what porting means that the principle or the pros and cons of porting kind of dissolve into an amalgam, like a jambalaya, like a port jambalaya. You don't put port in jambalaya, do you? That's more like a kind of beef stew kind of thing, port. What are we talking about? Sony's stance has always been, our games on our system, go away, everyone else. We live in our own little insulated, insulin land. We kind of accepted that was a positive. We accepted that was a positive aspect because they were so guarded about it. People started clinging to that. That was the reason to have a PS4. You can't play your PS4 games on an Xbox One. On a PC, you need a PlayStation. But Sony has finally opened their eyes to the possibilities of broadening, like I was saying to you about other media forms, broadening how many devices you get to play your games on, enjoy your content on. So Horizon Zero Dawn, Detroit Become Human, the whole plethora of PS4 only games have now been ported. Are you that cagey about how many people get to enjoy the same game you are? Or is it just a purchase problem? Is it that you purchased your item on the original pretense of it being this me and only me device that you feel really special and exclusive and part of a club? They're all valid reasons. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that it's not a valid feeling to have. It's not as big a deal as you think. And so what I said about ports becoming this vague, ambiguous kind of, this is the world of ports. It's becoming greater instead of so rigid and binary domain on Xbox 360 becomes binary domain on PS3. It's just game is released and can be played anywhere on any platform. And so the idea of a port might actually disappear. It might become something that we talk about only retroactively, as in we used to have ports, we used to have games that got ported. Maybe that is the future. I was going to say, I hope it's been educational for you, but I haven't really said anything educational at all. I think it was one or two anecdotes at the start related to dev, and the rest had just been me verbally vomiting into the camera. I mean, you got to see me for how many minutes it's been. Can't be that bad. How many weird looking bald guys do you get to look at for several minutes a day? Just talking at you. Where do you stand on ports? Do you think ports are a good thing? Do you think ports are going to be a thing of the past, like I believe? Do you like Microsoft's approach to porting to your entire family of consoles and devices and everything being playable on the cloud? Do you prefer Nintendo, who likes to keep things in one place? If you're a Sony fan, do you like the old way of Sony to keep things all in one place? Or do you prefer that they're going more on the Microsoft route of porting more games to PC and broadening the horizons? And do you think ports will exist in the future? Because I don't. I think that games before long are going to be as ubiquitous as videos are today. It's going to be Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and all the other big players, probably Ubisoft, EA, all in one place, playable anywhere, on any device. Maybe subscription based, who knows. But the idea of a hard port or a traditional port, I think their days are numbered. So I've been Tommy, my favourite Power Rangers Tommy, favourite gun is Tommy, favourite sauce is Tommy Pato, and if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Totomimo. I prefer if you don't write letters to my home address written in blood with some of your hair taped to the inside. I don't know how you've managed to do that already. This is the first video I put out. And if you have any questions related to this video or anything game dev and I can answer it, by all means get in touch and I'll see if I can help out. And remember guys, stay totally cool. No, I'm not putting that in. I'm not putting that in. I've not even noticed that before. But every other YouTube video I'm going to watch now, I'm going to notice it. My ears are open and I wish they were closed again. It's like Pandora's lo-fi beats to study to.